So, the other day I went into hyper-focus mode, and I started making questions like, will I ever be able to buy a house? Or, can I beat Risk of Rain playing like a bumper cart? Until this day, only one of those two questions I can answer, and it's yes, you can beat Risk of Rain as a bumper cart. Let's see the ingredients necessary for creating this recipe of mass destruction. You will need a Mul-t. The color can vary depending on your preferences, and the ability to withstand really strong impacts to the head. By the way, let's talk about the rules. The rules are simple. I will be using Artifact of Command for this run to choose the items. Since this was my first challenge run, I tried to do it a little simple. There is no item limit, but don't worry, I got some harder challenge runs recorded already. The utility skill is mandatory for every kill. No primary and secondary skill is allowed, and since the special skill don't do any damage, I can use it, but I completely forgot that it existed when I recorded the gameplay. That means that I can only use Transport Mode, that it can deal 200% damage to enemies and give you a lot of armor. Any other type of damage is forbidden. That means no drones that can do damage, but I can still use the healing drone. No items that can proc on hit or damage over time. And charge items that trigger after certain conditions are out of question too. Beating Mithrix is mandatory. That means that I cannot obliterate and I need to finish in 6 stages. And for rules, that's it. Without further ado, come on Ben, go and get your raincoat, because it's rainy season and today there's risk of rain. We start the run in the Siphoned Forest, not my favorite starting environment because it can spawn one of the most overpowered enemies of all times. The Blind Beast. Since I can't do damage at all without my skills, beginning is always a rough start. The only way to get gold is by barrels, stalks, or shrines of blood. With a little bit of money that I got by scavenging barrels, I managed to buy the first item, an equipment, and none other than the wood sprite. That passive healing is going to be a godsend with that low region in the first stages. We got some good luck to get one Void Cradle at the beginning, and what better void item than to get the Wungus. That is going to heal 2% of my health while sprinting, and trust me, we're sprinting alright. As you can see, the economy is not that good in Risk of Rain, so I'm going to require to open some interesting site where people pay to see the pain of others. Time to get paid in a Shrine of Blood. That money that Mul-t got with Pain and Blood is going to help me buy the next item, and since I discovered that my despawning potential against enemies is still pretty low, I need to raise it by buying some good old crowbars, which are gonna assist me dealing 75% more damage against enemies that are above 90% health. There are many green items in the game, but the best that I could get were the red whips. The faster that I am, the faster the clear. 30% more movement speed is no joke, and it scales linearly. And yes, it says that you need to be out of combat, but later I realized that being in combat means that you are using your primary skill, and since we don't use it, we're always out of combat. I added a roll of pennies to the collection of items since I'm getting hit a lot, so I'm gonna start getting a little bit of money just by tanking. Not even 5 minutes in the run and we already got a red item. Since my only way of damage is through Transport Mode, Hardlight Afterburner is going to help me increasing not only the charges of the utility skill, but also decreasing its cooldown by 33%. And just look at that driving ability, no wonder why they took my driver's license. I don't know why I decided to get the sales start. Later I realized that I have really bad memory, forgetting that I have it more than once in the run. But I mean, look at it. It looks really cute. Like one of those stars that followed that Italian guy in that space game. Or was he Japanese? Or Mexican? Time to increase those damage numbers more. The next item in the rooster is the Focus Crystal, that increases the damage just by 20%. Yes, I know, a lot less than the Crowbars, but there's a catch. It always worked because I'm always at the 10-meter range. I'm ready for the boss of stage 1, the Stone Titan. It's time for the first damage check of the run, and well, the first hit got almost 50% of its health, but the next hit falls off really hard. That's the moment I realized that maybe the Focus Crystals are going to be the main focus item for this run. And come on, look at that, I left it at 59 HP. I picked our Rust Buckler as spoils of war for this boss. Since we are always sprinting, we always get the 30 extra armor. On the other hand, a new problem has emerged. Flying enemies are starting to swarm, and I have no way to reach them. A hoopoe feather is the key. Or another item perhaps? Probably you're looking at the gunner drone right now and thinking, grab it please. But remember, no damage if it's not our utility skill. And trust me, I ruined my run earlier more than once by buying a gunner drone by mistake. So for now, the gunner drone is lava. Before leaving stage 1, a new contender emerged, the Halcyonite. Usually, I feel that the battle against the Halcyonite is harder, but man, it disappeared. Perhaps it's because I always fight him at the beginning. 0 items, just my pride. It's almost minute 12 and I think it's time for stage 2. See you later, Siphoned Forest. The Aphelian Sanctuary receives us with 2 barrels and a refreshed sail star. On top of that, I find a bunch of chests, and our greatest terror, a group of blind pests that wanted to crush the party and say hello. Fortunately, I managed to escape. I had to take my friend Fred to the hospital because he started to feel unwell. He didn't recover, by the way. And I got my first chest of the stage, with the sail star in mind. Good thing that I got 2 green items, but now instead of getting more damage or speed, I decided to increase the survivability, getting a shield core that gives me armor while a shield is active, and a bloodthirsty shield that each time I beat an enemy restored 10% max shield. Flying enemies were getting on my nerves already, so it was time to do something about it. A hoopoe feather joined the collection. Now I'm able to reach almost every enemy most of the time. I picked up Warp Echo because I only read the beginning of the description. Reducing 20% of damage sounds really good if you get hit by someone's hammer, and I believe that it worked for every instance of damage, but later realized that it has a cooldown. It still worked for Roll of Pennies, but it wasn't necessary. I took too long by choosing an item. If you already played Risk of Rain, you know that taking too long for choosing an item is a really bad idea. So I panicked and I got a fuel cell, that it's gonna decrease the cooldown of my equipment. And maybe you will say that for the wood sprite that's useless, but no, because I'm gonna change of equipment. My wood sprite gave its best, but it was time to give space to the real hero of this run, the Primordial Cube. 30 meters of range and pulling flying enemies to the range of my transport mode made every stage from now on simpler. Finally, revenge. This is for you, viewer. That probably got deleted more than once by them. The stage 2 portal surprised me with a pair of wandering vagrants trying to protect their home. But I showed them the power of a divorced dad with 2 DUIs. Poor jellyfishes, they couldn't even explode in peace. And then I flexed my drifting abilities to the blind pest and blind vermins. I do know how to drive, okay? It's not a fake license. A blue portal appeared, but we have no time for shopping. Sorry Newt, you will be useful in another run, I promise. Goodbye Aphelian Sanctuary. And hello Scorched Acres. A voice that appeared, and I think it's one of the best scenarios because I didn't have a lot of healing. Only 1 healing drone and a Wungus are not going to make the cut the longer the run. Oh, wait. No way. Is that Fred? They told me you... Oh, never mind. The Void River wanted me to stop disrupting the renovations, but I got called to stop them, so I sent it back to the Void. Nope, I'm not coming back with you. The seed collapsed in our limbs, and I realized something really important. Turns out that selling half your soul twice in 5 seconds is not a good idea. Almost made a speed run back to the menu. Well, I got some money. You know what to do. Open a chest. Oh, I forgot I have the sales star icon. Well, I mean, it's not that bad. I can still get some Wengus. That close call with the Void Cradle helped me to identify the next item in the list. The personal shield generator, giving 8% max health as shield. It was the time of the year that I have to pay a visit to Uncle Halcyonite. And he's been working out. Because even with all of those items and I know I hit harder, he withstand a lot. He dodged many of my hits. I received many from him. But after some bonks, he goes down. Let me just get these items please. I found the real boss of Risk of Rain. The Scorch Worm hits like a truck. The boss of Stage 3 is actually a double boss battle again, and none other than the Grove Tender. I was really happy to see it, because in all of the other runs that I had, it never appeared. Too bad it got deleted really quickly. I like its design. With the spoil of war that I got from the Grove Tenders, the charity joined the fray. 25% damage taken transforming to bleed damage. It sounds bad, but it helps to mitigate the damage of strong attacks. And it synergizes with the roll of pennies. With the teleporter charge and my build taking shape, I left the acre on a road trip. A road trip to Siren's Call. A challenge of the mountain spawned on a map. Who can say no to an extra item? What's the worst that can happen? Double magma worms? Please no. The first lunar pod of the run. Maybe there were more, but I didn't saw them. Maybe I passed them by and I got distracted, but anyways. The light flux pauldron increases the skill cooldown by 50%, but decreases attack speed. Who needs to shoot when you can crash at 500 miles per hour? And guess what? I forgot that I had the Sail Star again. Not even 1 minute after using the Sail Star, I got a red item from a chest. Come on. Well, for this red item, I got the Rejuvenation Rack, augmenting my healing capabilities by 100%. Okay, I had an intense lack of judgment, alright? A Delicate Watch? Why? How did it slip to me that the percentual damage of the Delicate Watch is the same as the Focus Crystal? Let's just ignore this embarrassing situation, okay? I would love to say that this build is invincible, but nope, not at all. Getting hit at this stage is almost lethal if I'm not cautious. Testing my luck is fun, and what better way to do it by using an adaptive chest. Let's just click on the red and whoop! Got it. Since I just got the rack, let's get its synergy. Aegis, creating a temporal shield each time I get overhealed. And with 7 Wangas at hand, I'm healing all the time. I heard that alloy bolter eggs are really tasty as omelets, so I cracked some, and before I could eat my breakfast, I got ambushed by the alloy worship unit. I took a while because this big ball has a lot of health and can create blue shields, but after a few hits, it let me finish my omelet. The red item became the symbiotic scorpion. I thought about Shattered Justice, but this debuff is permanent, and since Mithrix resists a lot, taking down the armor will decrease the difficulty, since that the Alloy Worship unit called its brother, the Blazing Solus Control unit. But to be honest, I think I took more time against that little brother. 3 green items, am I going to add a new one? Yes! A chipping form. Seems useless, but there's still a probability of getting a red item. 1%? I like those odds. Turns out I don't like omelets, and I think I got some monolosis. I need to go before someone sees the nuclear damage that I did in the bathroom. The Helminth Hatchery is the last stop before the moon. Although I like the design of this environment, the illumination, it's super dark sometimes, and more if there's a boy seat nearby. Oh hey, a legendary chest! Since I stopped the boy to do remodelations in the other environment, they decided to move their project to a new area. Too bad I'm here to stop them. I guess they didn't expect me to go that far. And I don't blame them, I didn't expect it to go that far either. Now, 2 void rivers protect the seed. There's 1, there's 2. And even with the 2 void rivers gone, I took a little too long because these corrupted childs moved through the map really quickly and it was a little bit hard to hit them. They're so tiny. This was the first stage in the whole run in which I remember that I had the Sail Star. Cent by cent, I saved for the legendary chest, and I managed to open it. The 2 red items became hardlight afterburners. More charges for transport mode are necessary to increase the DPS. Tested my luck in a Shrine of Chance only to show the viewers that I have less luck than a potato. But hey, after a few tries I got a white item. I saw my build and said, why not? I feel overpowered right now. I am pretty sure I can beat Halcyon Knight one more time. And well, the elite golems almost erased me from the chunk, but I crashed and crashed until the Halcyonite appeared. And it was a little disappointing. It took longer waiting for it to spawn. And yes, for everyone in your seats that have realized that I never got a single crit item, I remember that I can crit 50 minutes into the run. Sorry. I got 2 glasses. Now I got an increase of 20% of crit rate, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. The last boss before the moon is upon us. A group of mending scorch worms. The real boss of Risk of Rain. Or maybe not. That teleported finished charging and I was ready to face the moon. Finally, the last stage. Commencement. 8 clovers and 22 crystals are going to show what they're made out of. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how overpowered you are, the chimeras are strong. But I guess, as long as no elite chimeras appear, we're alright. And here it is, an elite chimera. Time for revenge, you ruined my runs more than enough. See ya! Wouldn't wanna be you. The first pillar is the Pillar of Mass. A little boring because it takes 60 seconds to charge, no special changes, and is in a closed space. So if you're not paying attention, chimeras can ambush and cause a lot of damage. Next is the Pillar of Design, that pushes the survivor, making you go out of the range and at the same time causing cripple, that lowers your speed and your defense. This pillar takes 30 seconds to charge, and depending on where it spawns is the difficulty. In this case, I got covered by the wall, so I just stay on top of the pillar and jump till it charges. And the last pillars are the Pillars of Blood. My favorites because they charge really quickly, but at the same time risky. You take 10% of your max health damage each tick, and it only takes 10 seconds to charge. But you are at risk, because I always see at least 2 golden chimeras spawn trying to stop you, but in this case, they weren't the problem. Still, the elite ones are really tanky. The second pillar is active, and some chimeras come to raid, but the pillar charges quickly, and I just dodge away. No more time to waste. It's time to show Mithrix what this robot is made out of. After falling into this abyss. We're on track again. Now, Mithrix. Stage 1 goes well. I didn't make the damage expected, but it wasn't underwhelming either. But even with the golden shield active, Mithrix managed to take a toll on it. Just with one hit, I lost all of the shield. But no problem, I can regenerate it. Finally, stage 1 was over. Stage 2 are chimeras, and the wisp ones are the problem. I tried to jump to reach them, only to realize that only a hoopoe feather is not enough. But don't worry, because the real hero of the run is here, the primordial cube. I pulled the wisp chimeras and cleaned the room. Easy peasy. Now, stage 3. This stage is ass. I am sometimes really good at dodging every hit, and sometimes my brain just lags and I take the hammer to the face. Let's not forget the shockwaves too, and the spinny attack that if it hits you, you receive 900% damage. Let's add the fact that it's not only the hammer, you're being overwhelmed by chimeras. But no casualties happened, we're just missing a bonk. Last stage. And for some people, the easiest, depending on your build, the hardest. Goodbye crowbars and crystals. Most of my items are actually useless for Mithrix. Until I saw the symbiotic scorpion. Good thing I got the pauldron because that slow attack speed helped a lot. Transport mode still had the charges from the afterburner. I used them to make a little bit of ship damage and get some items back, but I think the damage skyrocketed too quickly. It was over. After all of those tries, time to get off the moon. I got back to the ship, deleted some void rivers in celebration, and after charging the ship, it was time to go home. Thank you for everyone who watched my video. It means a lot. I hope I can make more in the future and show you my love for this game. Have a great day!